The first thing I noticed was the quiet hum of the boutique, punctuated by the soft clink of hangers and the faint rustle of fabric. Rows of dresses in every imaginable color and style lined the racks, each one more dazzling than the last. I stood frozen for a moment, taking it all in. My heart raced, not just from the excitement of the shopping trip, but from the secret thrill that had been simmering inside me for months, the private world I explored only in whispers, mirrors, and fleeting moments of daring. I'm Alex. By day, I'm just another guy trying to blend in, juggling work, friends, and a normal routine. But beneath the surface, there's a side of me that's been quietly craving expression, a side that finds liberation in crossdressing. It's not about fashion alone. It's about identity, confidence, and a playful escape from the rigid expectations of daily life. The problem? Almost no one knows. Not my colleagues, not my family, and certainly not anyone at my office. Only Emma, my girlfriend, knows, and even with her, there are boundaries. She's supportive, curious, and sometimes playful. But this was a whole new level. Emma had dragged me to this boutique under the guise of just browsing, but I could tell there was a hidden agenda. Her eyes sparkled with mischief, and I knew the moment I saw the first rack of pastel gowns that she had something specific in mind. "Alex," she said softly but teasingly, "I think you'd look amazing in one of these bridesmaid dresses. You should try it on. Just for fun." The words sent a shiver down my spine. The thrill of crossdressing, the fear of judgment, and the curiosity of what I might look like in such a dress all collided into one intoxicating wave. I hesitated, glancing at the racks, at the delicate fabrics, at the shimmering sequins, and finally at Emma, who was trying and failing to look casual. Her hand brushed against mine, warm and encouraging. "Come on," she said, eyes sparkling. "It'll be fun. You'll see." So I agreed, my heart pounding in my chest. I followed her to the changing area, each step bringing me closer to a transformation I had imagined in secret but never dared to fully explore in public, or at least semi-public. The changing room was small, mirrors lining the walls, soft lighting designed to make every fabric glow. I felt exposed already, nerves buzzing with anticipation, yet exhilaration laced every thought. I pulled a dress from the rack, a soft blush pink gown, floor-length, with delicate lace and subtle sequins catching the light. The moment I held it against me, I could feel its potential. It wasn't just clothing, it was a vessel for transformation. Sliding into the dress was an almost electric experience. The fabric was soft against my skin, smoothing over every contour, making my frame feel different, elegant, delicate. I caught my reflection and froze. For the first time, I saw myself as more than just Alex, the shy, ordinary guy. I saw the reflection of someone captivating, radiant, and impossible to ignore. Emma peeked through the curtain, gasping softly. "Wow," she said, eyes wide. You look incredible." My face heated. Compliments were thrilling, but layered with embarrassment. The voice in my head warned me, "Stay calm, act natural." Yet my body betrayed me, heart racing, legs trembling slightly, and every shift in the dress emphasizing the transformation I was beginning to inhabit fully. The dress clung delicately to my shoulders and waist, flowing around my legs like liquid silk. I stepped slightly forward, adjusting the gown to see the effect in the mirror. My reflection captivated me. The soft lighting accentuated my features, and I realized that I looked beautiful. Not just in the sense of clothing or makeup, but in a way that made me feel confident, desirable, and undeniably feminine. A thrill ran through me, equal parts excitement and fear. What if someone saw me like this? What if the world reacted differently? Emma's hand found mine again, gentle but firm. "See," she whispered. "I told you. You've got this." Her words were reassurance and permission. In that moment, I felt a shift, a blending of identities, a merging of Alex and this new persona that was daring, radiant, and unapologetically captivating. I started moving in the dress, taking small steps, testing the weight of the fabric, the sway with each stride. The heels Emma had chosen for me added an extra challenge, making each step deliberate, balanced, and graceful. The mirror reflected a version of me I had never seen, confident, poised, playful, yet vulnerable in a way that was thrilling. Every adjustment, every glance, every subtle movement became a lesson in inhabiting this persona fully. The first surprise came quickly. Emma grabbed her phone, clicking a few photos. "You have to see these," she said, showing me the images. I felt a flush of warmth, embarrassment mixed with a strange pride. Each photo captured not just my appearance, but a side of me I rarely shared. My posture, the tilt of my chin, the softness of my expression, all of it created an image that seemed both familiar and foreign. A thought struck me. What if this side of me wasn't just a secret anymore? What if people actually liked it, encouraged it, wanted to see it? My pulse quickened. The thrill of exploration, of being admired, even in this small, semi-private moment, was intoxicating. But beneath it lingered fear. How would Emma's friends react? My friends? Family? Could this transformation be more than a fleeting experiment, more than a playful dare? As I looked at my reflection, adjusting the gown, the heels, the hair, I realized something important. This was more than just trying on a dress. It was stepping into a persona that allowed me to explore boundaries, express hidden desires, and confront the delicate tension between exposure and empowerment. My heart pounded with anticipation, the excitement building for what was about to unfold next. And as Emma encouraged me to step out of the changing room and into the boutique proper, I felt a surge of adrenaline. Every glance from the other shoppers, every reflected image in the mirrors lining the store, amplified the thrill. I was no longer just trying on a dress. I was performing, exploring, and daring to reveal a part of myself that had long remained hidden. And somehow, I knew that once the photos were shared, once Emma's friends saw them, the game would change. People would notice. People would want to capture this version of me. For the first time, I understood the allure, the danger, and the excitement of transformation. And I couldn't wait to see where it would take me next. Stepping out of the changing room, I felt every eye in the boutique on me, or at least it seemed that way. Emma walked beside me, smiling and whispering encouragement, and I tried to match her energy. The soft sway of the dress with each step, the unfamiliar click of heels against the polished floor, and the delicate weight of the gown on my shoulders made me hyper-aware of every movement. It was thrilling and terrifying. We moved toward a small seating area where Emma had set her phone on a tripod to capture more photos. I felt exposed, each pose a mixture of performance and vulnerability. My reflection in the mirrors lining the boutique multiplied me endlessly, creating the illusion that dozens of people were watching my transformation. The butterflies in my stomach flared with each click of the camera. Emma crouched slightly, snapping pictures from angles that accentuated the dress's flowing fabric. "Alex, you look amazing," she whispered. "You've got this. Just be yourself. Well, this version of yourself." I laughed nervously, aware of the strange tension in my chest. This was more than just trying on a dress. It was a challenge to embody a persona I had rarely dared to explore outside of my private world. As I posed, I felt the thrill of transformation expand beyond clothing. My shoulders relaxed, my chin lifted, my posture shifted into something I recognized in magazines and movies, but had never felt in real life: confident, delicate, and undeniably feminine. The dress was a conduit for change, but the true transformation came from within. My voice, my movements, even the way I breathed seemed altered, synchronized with the persona I was now inhabiting. And then came the first test. A boutique employee wandered over to offer assistance, carrying a selection of accessories. "Would you like to try some jewelry with that dress?" she asked, her tone friendly, oblivious to the internal struggle I was having. My heart raced. Could I interact convincingly? Could I maintain the persona under external scrutiny? I nodded, trying to sound casual, feminine, playful. "Yes, thank you," I said, voice slightly higher than usual. Each syllable felt like a performance, every inflection deliberate. The employee smiled, offering delicate earrings and a matching necklace. I took them hesitantly, sliding them on, feeling the small weight against my skin. Each piece enhanced the illusion, pulling me deeper into the persona. Emma watched, her expression a mixture of pride and amusement, clearly enjoying the way I was beginning to inhabit this new side of myself. As we continued, Emma suggested I twirl gently, allowing the dress to flare around me. My legs wobbled slightly in heels, and I fought the urge to stumble. The mirrors caught every motion, reflecting not just my outward appearance, but the tension and exhilaration coursing through me. I felt both exposed and empowered, like I was walking a tightrope between fear and delight. Then came the unexpected challenge. Emma's phone pinged with a message from her best friend, Sarah, who had somehow gotten wind of our little outing. "Can you send me pics of Alex in that dress? He looks so cute," the message read. Panic and excitement surged through me simultaneously. Sharing these images could expose my secret beyond the boutique, yet the thrill of being admired, of being photographed and appreciated in this way, was intoxicating. I looked at Emma, whose grin was mischievous and encouraging. "Well," she teased, "do you want to send them?" My hands trembled as I held the phone, fingers hovering over the send button. The adrenaline coursing through me made my heart race and my thoughts scatter. What if Sarah shared them? What if others saw this side of me? But even as fear gripped me, a part of me wanted to press send, to embrace this unexpected spotlight. I sent the photos. The instant reaction was electric. Sarah replied almost immediately. "OMG, Alex, you look amazing. Everyone's going to want pictures now." My stomach lurched. Admiration was thrilling, but the sudden attention escalated the stakes beyond what I had imagined. I felt the familiar mix of excitement and fear, the core tension of this transformation. As we moved toward the boutique's fitting room mirror for final adjustments, Emma encouraged me to try different poses, different expressions.
"Play with it," she said.
"See how it feels to really be in this version of yourself." I experimented, tilting my head, adjusting my posture, softening my smile, and letting the dress flow with each movement. Each pose reinforced the persona I was building, delicate, radiant, and increasingly convincing. Then, a sudden twist. Another customer walked in with friends, and their eyes swept across the boutique floor. One of them paused, clearly impressed, murmuring something about how gorgeous the person in the blush pink gown looked. My chest tightened, heat rushing to my face. Could I keep the persona intact under the scrutiny? The thrill of being admired by strangers, the fear of recognition, and the exhilaration of crossdressing collided into a heady rush of emotion. I moved carefully, adjusting the dress and heels, forcing a light laugh to mask the racing of my heart. Emma's hand brushed mine briefly, a silent reassurance.
"See?
They don't even know you're Alex," she whispered. The words were both comforting and intoxicating. The duality of my identity, the secret Alex and this radiant version, felt thrilling, almost addictive. The suspense escalated further when the boutique manager suggested we take a few professional style shots for their social media, highlighting the new Bridesmaid collection. Panic surged. Professional photos meant exposure, and exposure meant risk. Yet, the thrill was irresistible. With Emma's encouragement, I posed, capturing every angle, every subtle gesture, every nuance of the persona I was now inhabiting fully. The mirror behind me reflected not just my image, but the transformation itself. Alex and the bridesmaid persona, intertwined yet distinct, delicate yet confident. Each click of the camera reinforced the duality, pushing me to embrace the persona while managing the fear of being revealed. The tension and exhilaration built to a crescendo, each moment a test of my control, my courage, and my ability to inhabit this new self. By the time we left the boutique, I was exhilarated, exhausted, and vibrating with adrenaline. The photos were already circulating among Emma's friends, sparking admiration and curiosity. The thrill of transformation had expanded beyond the private moment. It had entered the public sphere, creating suspense and anticipation for what would happen next. I knew that every glance from friends, every comment on social media, and every photo taken would heighten the stakes, challenging me to navigate my dual identity with skill and daring. The next morning, my phone was buzzing relentlessly. Emma's group chat had exploded overnight with reactions to the photos from the boutique. Heart racing, I opened it, bracing myself for a mix of admiration and potential ridicule. But what I saw sent a jolt of both fear and excitement through me. Everyone was raving. Compliments, emojis, and comments praising my look flooded the chat. "Alex, you look unreal. Can we get more pics? Seriously, you could be a model." My chest tightened. Part of me swelled with pride. I had never felt this level of admiration before, but the other part quivered in fear. What if someone outside Emma's circle saw the pictures? What if my secret leaked beyond my control? The thrill and terror were inseparable, like fire and ice coursing through my veins. Emma was grinning at me, clearly delighted by the chaos. "See," she said, nudging my shoulder. "I told you. People love it." Her confidence was infectious, but I couldn't shake the underlying anxiety. Each message felt like a ticking clock, counting down to a potential disaster. That evening, Emma announced that her sister, Lily, had invited her to a casual photo shoot gathering, an informal get-together where everyone could snap pictures and try on outfits. "She wants you to come too," Emma said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "She's dying to see the bridesmaid Alex in action." My stomach dropped. This was no longer a private experiment. This was a social stage, full of real people whose reactions could make or break the secret I had so carefully curated. The drive to Lily's house was filled with tension. I adjusted the dress nervously, smoothing the fabric over my hips and shoulders, double-checking the heels, and flicking my hair to sit just right. Emma's presence beside me was reassuring but also added pressure. She knew exactly how this transformation had escalated, and her excitement made me acutely aware of every imperfection. As we arrived, the backyard was bustling with friends, cameras, and laughter. Everyone seemed genuinely happy, unaware of the internal chaos I was navigating. I felt exposed, every glance amplified by the knowledge that my identity was partially hidden, partially revealed. Emma whispered, "Just be yourself, well, this version of yourself." The words were both comforting and daunting. The first photo session began innocuously enough. Lily handed me a camera and asked me to pose, offering gentle guidance. The sunlight highlighted the shimmer of the dress, the softness of the curls framing my face, and the delicate glow of my makeup. With each click, I felt both exhilarated and vulnerable, aware that any misstep could expose my dual identity. Then came the twist, the unexpected observer. Emma's cousin, Mark, arrived mid-session. He had always been a perceptive, curious type, and as he glanced at me, his brow lifted. "Wait, Alex," he said, voice tinged with uncertainty. My heart skipped a beat. Could he recognize me? Was my secret already unraveling? I froze, balancing in heels, trying to maintain composure. Emma leaned subtly against me, her hand brushing mine reassuringly. "Just go with it," she whispered. My mind raced. I had two options: retreat, hide, and risk looking awkward, or embrace the persona fully, gambling that confidence would mask everything. Choosing the latter, I straightened, lifted my chin, and allowed the persona to take over. Every movement was deliberate, every pose exaggerated just enough to convey elegance and charm. Mark stared, momentarily stunned, before relaxing into a smile, seemingly captivated rather than suspicious. The relief was immense, but my pulse never fully slowed. Every step, every glance, every shutter click was a test of endurance and nerve. The intensity escalated further when Lily suggested group photos, pairing me with other attendees in various poses. I felt a surge of anxiety. Proximity, interaction, and the constant risk of exposure made my pulse hammer in my chest. But as the camera clicked, I noticed a shift. People weren't scrutinizing me negatively. They were genuinely engaged, laughing, admiring, and capturing the moment. The thrill of social validation surged alongside lingering fear. At one point, a playful breeze caught the hem of my dress, sending it flaring slightly around my legs. I gasped softly, heart leaping. Emma smirked knowingly, nudging me.
See? It's part of the charm, she teased.
The symbolic moment, the dress moving on its own, the wind revealing just enough, was like a mirror reflecting both vulnerability and empowerment. My dual identity felt suspended in that instant, delicate, captivating, and precarious. But then came the true challenge. Lily's camera caught a candid moment as I laughed at a joke, tilting my head just so. The lens flashed, and I realized the image had captured the essence of my transformation perfectly. Not just the dress or makeup, but the persona itself, the elegance, the allure, the delicate confidence. My chest tightened, my pulse surged. This was no longer a controlled experiment. This was exposure, and it was beautiful, terrifying, and irreversible. The tension peaked when Emma's friend, Sarah, jokingly suggested we take some behind-the-scenes shots. Cameras were now everywhere, capturing angles, expressions, and gestures. I felt simultaneously empowered and exposed, each click a potential revelation, each smile a gamble. The persona had become a living thing, interacting with the world in ways I had only imagined in private. Then, the climax of suspense arrived. A sudden message pinged on my phone. It was from work, a notification about an early meeting. My heart leapt. Could I leave in this state without risking exposure? Should I change immediately, abandoning the persona? Or should I embrace it fully, risking awkward encounters but savoring the thrill of being fully visible in public? I weighed the options in seconds. The persona had taken hold, and the adrenaline, the empowerment, and the playful audacity pushed me toward one choice: embrace it fully. I would face the world as this version of myself, at least for now, and navigate the risks as they came. Every step back to the car, every glance from strangers, every comment from friends heightened the stakes, weaving a tapestry of suspense, fear, and exhilaration. By the end of the day, as photos were shared, laughter echoed, and compliments poured in, I realized something fundamental. The persona had changed me. Not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and socially. I had crossed a threshold, navigating exposure, admiration, and internal tension in a way that left me both exhausted and exhilarated. The day closed with a moment of quiet reflection. Alone in the car, I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. The blush pink gown, the curls, the subtle makeup, everything was perfect. And yet, the eyes staring back at me were still Alex's, aware of the delicate balancing act between secret and exposure. The thrill of transformation, the danger of discovery, and the intoxicating allure of admiration collided in a heady mix, leaving me eager, terrified, and hungry for the next step. The car ride home was quiet, the hum of the engine filling the spaces between my racing thoughts. Emma sat beside me, her hand brushing mine occasionally, a gentle reminder that she knew the truth and supported me in ways I still struggled to fully embrace. But even with her reassurance, the adrenaline from the day hadn't subsided. Each compliment, each photo, each whispered comment in the group chat echoed in my mind like a drumbeat I couldn't escape. I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror once more. The blush pink gown had been carefully folded in a shopping bag, the curls from my hair softly falling around my shoulders. I no longer looked like the shy, uncertain Alex who had nervously stepped into that boutique hours ago. I looked like the persona I had created, the radiant, delicate, confident version of myself that had captivated everyone's attention. My heart still raced at the memory of each glance, each candid photo, each compliment that had left me both exhilarated and terrified. But just as a wave of relief began to settle, my phone buzzed again. Another message. My pulse quickened before I even looked. It wasn't from Emma this time, it was from someone I didn't recognize in the group chat, someone who had somehow received the photos. The message was short, almost casual. "Wow, who is this? You're stunning. Everyone's talking about you. Can I see more?" I froze. My stomach dropped, a cold knot tightening, as I realized the precarious position I was in. These weren't just friends or acquaintances. This was someone outside the circle, someone who could expose the secret I had been guarding so carefully. The thrill of admiration now clashed violently with the fear of discovery. My fingers hovered over the screen, torn between curiosity and panic. Emma glanced at me, noticing the sudden tension. "What is it?" she asked, her voice calm but tinged with concern. I swallowed hard, not wanting to reveal my fear fully. "Just someone who somehow got the photos," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. The truth was worse. The photos, the transformation, the persona that had felt so safe in the boutique, were now floating beyond my control. Every compliment, every shared image, had increased the stakes. I thought back to the day. The breeze catching the hem of the dress, the candid moments, the laughter of friends and strangers alike. Each memory now felt like a delicate thread holding together a fragile illusion. One wrong move, one careless click, and it could unravel completely. The tension in the car was palpable. Emma's hand tightened slightly around mine, a silent promise that she was there, but even her support couldn't erase the gnawing fear. My mind raced through every possible scenario. Someone recognizing me at work, my family seeing the images, the delicate persona I had crafted shattering in an instant. And yet, there was a part of me that thrilled at the danger, that craved the adrenaline, that wanted to push the boundaries even further. As we pulled into the driveway, my phone buzzed again. Another message, this time with a photo attached. My stomach sank. It was a close-up, captured without my knowledge during one of the candid shots earlier. A perfect image of me, radiant and delicate, my transformation captured in exquisite detail. The thrill, the beauty, the danger. All of it was laid bare in that single frame. Emma looked at the photo over my shoulder, her expression unreadable for a moment before breaking into a soft, almost mischievous smile. "You know," she said, "people are going to want to see more of this version of you. Maybe even all of them." I laughed nervously, the tension making my chest ache. "Maybe they're going too far," I said, though part of me already knew I wanted them to see more. The persona, the glamorous, alluring, fragile, confident Alex, had become intoxicating. And the idea of it being out there, admired, coveted, and even envied, both thrilled and terrified me. But then, a sudden realization hit me like a punch. Emma's phone buzzed too. A notification from her sister Lily. I glanced at it, and my heart skipped. "She said she's planning another gathering," Emma muttered, reading the message aloud. "And she wants you to come. And she's bringing someone new, someone you've never met." The thrill surged alongside dread. A new person meant new eyes, fresh judgment, and the possibility of exposure. Every skill I had honed in maintaining the persona would be tested again, perhaps in ways I couldn't control. And yet, despite the fear, a spark of exhilaration flickered inside me. I wanted to see how far I could take this transformation, how fully I could inhabit this side of myself, and whether I could navigate the dangerous line between secrecy and revelation. I sat back in the seat, the evening sun casting shadows across the car. The dress, the persona, the thrill of transformation, they were no longer confined to a boutique or a private space. They were out there, alive and waiting for me to step into the next challenge. Waiting for me to prove whether I could be both Alex and this radiant, captivating version of myself simultaneously. And then the final notification came, a message from an unknown number. "Can we meet? I need to see the real you." My breath caught. My pulse thundered in my ears. The thrill of adventure, the danger of discovery, and the intoxicating allure of the persona I had created collided in a single, impossible moment. Every choice from this point forward would carry consequences I couldn't yet imagine. Emma reached over, squeezing my hand gently. "Whatever happens," she whispered, "we'll figure it out. Together." I nodded, but the truth was undeniable. The game had just escalated to a level I wasn't prepared for. The thrill, the danger, and the suspense were only beginning. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the driveway, I realized one thing clearly. My life, and my secret, would never be the same again. The car fell silent, but my mind raced, each heartbeat echoing the suspense and uncertainty that had become my reality. Outside, the world continued as usual, unaware of the transformation, the thrill, and the secret that now hung delicately between danger and desire. And in that quiet moment, I understood. Tomorrow, nothing would be ordinary.